Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Below the Line podcast. This is Victor Barahat from Connect Marketing Services. And with me today, we have Mrs. Sola Antwi. Welcome, Mrs. Sola.
Thank you very much.
Okay, really nice to have you here.
My pleasure being here as well.
Okay, please kindly just give us a bit of your background and your career path so far.
Okay, so I started off in 1999. Then I started with internship at SONU, then known as SONU. And from there, I grew into media planner. I became a media planner. From there, I went into PR as well. From PR, I was moved to a new arm of the business in SONU, then called Sola, which is still there. And I was one of the pioneer staff that worked in the company, along with some other notable people in the industry. So from then on, after spent about 9 years within the system of SONU and Sola, I moved on to another company, an events management agency called IDCL. Worked there for another 2 years. While there, I worked on projects like MTN, Onga, Promasido, that's Onga Promasido, and GSK. A lot of activations on Ribena and Lucozade Post. Before I now moved out of the business and I joined Tequila Nigeria in 2011. In 2016, I was still in Tequila in 2016. 2018, I moved on to Divergent Marketing Services as the Chief Operating Officer of the business. So far, I've had about 21 years of experience in advertising, public relations, audio-video production, events management, below-the-line activation, and experiential marketing, and all the works. So I've been around the industry, so to speak.
Wow, this is like such a very integrated approach. It's really, really lovely. But what did you study, or was this all what you always wanted to do? Did you grow up saying I want to do advertising and marketing, or you just found yourself there?
Well, funny while I was growing up, I wanted to be a TV newscaster.
Okay.
So somehow I've always wanted to be on TV, but right now I'm not sure I want to go there anymore. But I started with mass communication when I got into University of Lagos. I have a diploma in mass communication, and I'm sure I went to do English as my first degree before having another master's. It's not so much about knowing what I wanted to do at some point. At this point, I just wanted to just get it over with. You know, when you're growing up, you have so many ideas of what you want to do, and at some point, you just can't seem to pin that one. But I've always known I like communication. I like to speak. I like to address people, and so I do a bit of teaching of teenagers and the like. So I've enjoyed doing that. So learning English wasn't strange to me. So I went into study English, and I enjoyed every bit of it, and it has helped so far in my career. So now, do I enjoy what I do? Oh yes, I've enjoyed working in diverse parts of the industry, and it can only get better. I always want to take up more challenges. I know that I'm going to go back into audio production because that's something that still fascinates me, especially when I see events, TV production, like the Oscars, and you see how the lights and the stage and everything is working all together. I'm so fascinated by it, and I'm like, I really want to go back into it. I want to know how. I want to be in the middle of all those stuff when it is being done, when the lights are revolving, the stage are moving, the doors are closing. I just want to be in the thick of it. So it's still a desire I fascinate about, and I'm sure I'm going to get back to it eventually.
Oh, fantastic. That would be great. So actually, that actually even leads me to the next question. So tell us about your company, and tell us if you do a bit of that in your company in terms of creating experiences.
Okay, so for Divergent, what we do basically right now is experiential marketing and events management. That's what the business started off with. And we also do sales activation as well for some of our clients. So basically, there's still another part of the business that we're yet to open up, which is going to deal with the part I've just mentioned, which is the audio-visual production, which we haven't opened up yet. But because of my desire, my vision for it, is going to happen eventually. And we try to create experiences for the brands we work with, right? We try to do, I'm always fascinated with doing direct marketing that leaves a lasting impression in the minds of the consumers, because it's a norm to do the regular thing. We just want to go on a road show, we just want to do But I always think about what is that extra that we can put into the activation that can create a total recall for the consumers. And I find myself always thinking ahead of so many things. And we have a plan we're doing for a client presently. I'm just not able to share. But when it comes out, it's a plan that actually takes, it's supposed to be a sampling activation for a product. And rather than having, it's a paste. So rather than having us have a wash and basin somewhere where people just go and sample the product, we're thinking of doing a mobile wash and basin. So that's one of the things we're working on with a client, but it's not a project that is out yet, so I can't give more details about it.
That's fine.
Yeah, so but it's one of the things we do to think outside of the box in trying to create the better experiences for the brands we work with and we work on.
Okay, fantastic. So what I'll ask you, it's about COVID. Last year was a hard year for everyone.
Yeah.
This year is getting better, but it's still very much around. How has business been for you, and how have you been able to navigate in terms of innovation?
Well, COVID is something that we all wish never happened. 2020 is a year we wish we can actually cancel if it was possible to do so. But hey, it happened, and it's part of our history. And business, like most people would say, was not the best. And for us, it was a huge loss on the business because we really didn't do so many activities or carry out so many events for our clients, which is understood because even the clients weren't spending money. But so far, so good. This year has kind of picked up. It's not yet where we want it to be. It's not yet at the optimal level where it used to be. But so far it's better than what last year was. In terms of volume of business, some clients have increased volume of business. Some are still at the planning stage of what they want to do this year. So it's still one business compensating for all with us. But so far it's better, and the volume is getting better, is all I can say for now. Yeah.
So how's your company been able to innovate and keep up with the digital transformation and technology in this period?
All right, like everybody caught on fast with digital technology, we also had to do this as well. We also had to leverage on doing events online, which personally was a struggle for me because I just felt that the human touch experience, if it's missing, no one's going to ever feel, events won't feel the same. Events won't be the same. I really was very edgy about it initially because we're used to doing things in a way that we always have human interaction. So this online technology and online events and online interaction was, I struggled with it initially. I must admit that. But so far, it's been a good innovation that has come to stay and has helped the business. So we've had a few events online that, yeah, initially a bit not easy, but so far we've gotten a hang of it and it's getting better by the day. And I'm more convinced that this is the way to go, and we need to keep incorporating online presence and physical presence in future as business grows, as events are picking up, as activities are returning back to the market. It's just expedient that we continue to involve technology in everything we have to do because that's just the way it is.
Oh, great. So, from business, from your career and currently today, what are usually some of your challenges in the experiential marketing sector?
Oh, well, there's so many of them.
Maybe pick a top 2 or 3, the ones that bother you the most.
So many of them. So you have an activation you have planned for a client that is a multinational, and then everything seemed to have worked out at the planning stage. And on the first day of the activation, a whole lot of the gadgets that you have imported to work just wouldn't work.
Wow.
And it's a multinational, and the client had flown in for this event, and you're just there, just staring, and nothing seems to be happening. And he's wondering, did I just waste money? And you're running helter-skelter trying to wonder, why today of all days is something like this have to break down? But eventually it picked up. I must say that for that very first day, nothing happened. It just didn't work out. But the second day, it got better. It got better until the end of the activation. It's been one of my worst nightmares because I felt that we're going to lose that business for life. But I think the client eventually understood and stood by us at the end of the day. So that's one of the challenges of running a business, that you have to deal with people, equipment, and machines because they could fail you at any time. But What can we do about it? Then that's one of the worst nightmares I've had. And the second one, regular occurrences and activations, it's something that we all live with. You planned it to go this way. On the day of activation, it goes this way. You just have to think on your toes. You have to make sure that you have a plan B. You have something you can defer to initially. And I tend to always think of what is the alternative before I come back and look for who do I need to fire for this thing. But the point is, at the point where this is going, not going the way it has planned, it's always like, what is the next thing we can do to make it better? And I thank God, I pride myself in being able to always think fast and move fast when such challenges occur. And that has always worked out for us.
Okay, so the pitch process, before we wrap up, the pitch process, do you find that challenging? Do you think, some people say they think there should be a pitch fee? And the reason why that is because a lot of times some clients, they say, ask for a lot of things in the pitch that are already part of the main work. And a lot of times there's also even intellectual property theft. That is, they take some agencies' ideas and then they give them to another agency to implement. I don't know if that's happened to you, or what are your thoughts around that?
Right, so it's a struggle that we are on as an industry, and I'm sure we'll get there eventually. You know, a lot of work goes into planning for a pitch. The intellectual, the stress, the fatigue, the hours you putting an idea together, putting in a proposal form, doing demos for the client to be convinced about what you're trying to sell to them. There are a lot of resources also goes into that. You spend money at times to get this thing, to prove a point to the client. And then you go and present this idea that you think is the best of your world anyway to the client. And they tell you, oh, we're sorry, your idea wasn't chosen. And they don't think you should be compensated for the amount of hours you've invested in that page. I think it's unfair, and I think it's really unprofessional. I think we need to get to that level in this country whereby clients, potential and even present client, begin to see us as partners and not just as an agency, because the ideas we bring to you to help you push your brand forward, it's something that you couldn't do it by yourself. So when we bring it to the table to help you achieve that, we should be seen as partners. And as partners in the game, there should be a benefit that comes from either parties. It shouldn't only be from one side. So if I'm bringing ideas to the table that is helping you push the brand forward, I should get a benefit for it, and you also getting a benefit for it as well. But oftentimes we don't see that happen. So when you take your ideas to the client and you don't get to win the pitch, we're just told that, oh, we're sorry, you'll be considered in future, and your own hours of effort is being wasted. So I strongly believe that we should get to that point whereby clients are made to pay pitch fee for all of our pitches and presentations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for that. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to ask you two more things. Any word you have for people that want to get into the experiential marketing business, that's to start the business, and for people that want to work in the field?
Okay, so if you want to come into experiential, you need to be creative. Not necessarily be creative, you need to be creative. Let me state it that way. You need to have a creative mind whereby you can think of ideas and concepts that can actually work. Right, some ideas look as if believe it will work in this climb, but you never can tell until you try it out. So a creative mind is all you need. It's not about even what your certification in school or the degree that you have. It's about having a creative mind. So if you're open to new ideas, if you're open to thinking out of the box, if you're open to bringing out ideas that no one has ever thought about, but it looks as if it's not achievable, but the fact is that you just want to try it, then you're a good fit for the experiential industry. And so for those that want to come into the industry, like I said, a creative mind is all you need, and the passion you bring to the job, because working experiential is tasking. It is tasking. You spend a lot of resources and hours planning and executing some of these ideas. So you must have the passion. A passion will make you stand through any challenge that you face in the course of your work. The passion for the business, the passion for what you love to do, passion for the idea that you bring to birth will see you through anything at all you're doing in the below the line industry. So creative mind and your passion will see you through any day.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
My pleasure.
Sola. All right. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. This has been another episode of the Below the Line podcast. Have a great one.